Cohen, Trump's former attorney, pled guilty to 8 counts of bank and tax fraud this week. In addition, he pled to 2 counts of campaign finance violations involving payments made to a porn star and a Playboy model. Donald Trump sat down with Ainsley Earnhardt.
Did you know about the payments?
Later on, I knew. Later on. But you have to understand, Ainsley, what he did, and they weren't taken out of campaign finance. That's a big thing. That's a much bigger thing. Did they come out of the campaign? They didn't come out of the campaign. They came from me, and I tweeted about it.
The president adding that if you're looking at hard time, you're going to flip and plead to whatever the prosecutors want you to.
There's this whole thing about flipping, they call it. I know all about flipping. For 30, 40 years, I've been watching flippers. Everything's wonderful, and then they get 10 years in jail, and they flip on whoever the next highest one is, or as high as you can go. It almost ought to be outlawed. It's not fair. But if somebody defrauded a bank, and he's going to get 10 years in jail or 20 years in jail, but if you can say something bad about Donald Trump, and you'll go down to 2 years or 3 years, which is the deal he made, in all fairness to him, most people are going to do that.
But the left, ready to impeach.
Given the events of today, the likelihood of impeachment, I'm not saying it's high necessarily, but it certainly went up.
Impeachment.
Impeached.
Impeachment. Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
The president is clearly guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors. He should resign his office or be impeached.
Today, the Trump presidency took a giant step toward impeachment.
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 Impeachment implications are now in the air.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment. If it is a crime, it certainly is an impeachable offense.
Impeach Trump.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
So here to sort things out, the host of Life, Liberty, and Levin, right here on Fox News, which is now the #1 show on Sunday nights, and the host of CRTV's Levin TV, the great one, Mark Levin. All right, so Mark, this reminds me of the John Edwards situation, where a bunch of rich fat cats gave the guy about 700 G's to help cover up his affair and protect his wife. And prosecutors went after him hard, and the jury said, you know what? This is all personal. Now, I look at this thing, and I think, why can't this be personal? What's the difference?
Well, it is, and I was watching the president there in that interview. He's actually a pretty good lawyer. He's a better lawyer than the deputy U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York, who is a complete thug, as far as I'm concerned. This is a non-disclosure agreement, or several of them. Let's take the worst-case scenario. Let's say the President of the United States directed his private lawyer to pay in 2 cases, out of his private funds and out of his corporate funds.
Right.
A matter that does not arise out of the campaign. That's the key. Things that are alleged to have occurred before the campaign.
Right.
That is not a campaign contribution. It's never been a campaign contribution. And just because a deputy U.S. attorney and his fellow assistant U.S. attorneys in that office say, well, that influenced the campaign. It was intended to influence a campaign. Lots of things that influence a campaign that are positive. People get haircuts, they buy new suits, they settle lawsuits, all kinds of things that go on. This has nothing to do with a campaign expenditure.
Yeah,
Moreover,
so let me ask you, though. So, Mark,
yeah.
so if I go buy, if I'm running for president and, you know, I get my teeth whitened, my hair cut, I get new suits and ties, and I pay for it out of my own pocket, is that all of a sudden a campaign expenditure? Why can't I just, you know, want to look better? I mean, maybe it also affects how I look on the campaign trail, but, I mean, this is not a legitimate campaign expenditure.
That's correct. It's not a campaign expenditure because it doesn't arise out of a direct campaign event. But let me go on about this, how outrageous this is. Mr. Cohen didn't go to court. Mr. Cohen pled to cover his own butt.
Right.
Mr. Cohen was charged with 5 tax felonies, 1 bank felony, and 2 campaign felonies. And his lawyer, who is a Hillary Clinton hack and typically a lobbyist, right afterwards is all over TV doing exactly what we knew he would do. It's about Trump, 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 not about his client.
Right.
Now, that said, what this prosecutor did in the Southern District of New York is he held a prosecutorial gun to Cohen's head.
Yep.
We can give you 3 to 5, or we'll give you 30. Now, which is it? I want 3 to 5. Well, you must plead to these 2 campaign events. Great. Then he goes to the guy at the National Enquirer. He says to him, look, we know that you were involved also in this matter, and you paid for a story that you then spiked, and we consider that a campaign contribution. and we'll give you immunity, but you need to say, yes, you agree, right?
And
yes, I agree.
Exactly. And think about what this all came out of. Lanny's people over at the Clinton team, they were the one that cooked up this dossier that put the crosshairs on Michael Cohen, which ended up to be a total lie, and that got him all this attention where the prosecutors came after him. They're raiding his place, his home, his apartment, and now putting a gun to his head, as you said, and making him plead to this. And then Lanny's out there saying for the Clintons, because this is to avenge Hillary's loss, he's saying, oh, yeah, Michael Cohen may know something about the Trump-Russia Don Jr. meeting or something like that. Meanwhile, when Cohen went up to the Senate and House and investigators, he said he didn't know anything about Donald Trump's involvement in that. It's all lies.
I really want to focus on what this U.S. attorney doing and how evil it is. So Cohen pleads, right?
Yeah.
So he never, he doesn't have to, there's no trial. Then he gets the head of the National Enquirer. Immunity, no trial. Then he gets this guy Weaselberg or whatever his name is. He gets immunity from Trump World, right?
Yeah.
To basically say, yeah, Trump made these payments, perfectly legal payments, private payments, not reportable, not campaign payments. So what's he doing, this prosecutor? If it is the position of the United States Justice Department, which has now been admitted by Mr. Mueller, that you cannot indict a sitting president, what are they doing? I'll tell you what they're doing, and this is the important point.
Yeah.
Now that they know they cannot indict a sitting president, which I've been saying for a year and a half based on the Department of Justice memos, what are they doing? They are piling up through their criminal investigations, misusing prosecutorial tools and taxpayer dollars, items for impeachment, campaign violations, the use of funds, corporate funds, violating limits. And the President of the United States now is the only citizen in the United States of America who cannot defend himself because he cannot be indicted. Now, the left will say, well, then indict him. He has to defend the office of the presidency. More than that, let me tell you another little secret, Jesse, that the professors and the rest of them will, I want to remind them in their next show, which is this. Under impeachment, you cannot impeach a president for events that occurred before he was president.
Right.
So I want the dummy who runs the Southern District of New York to understand all this work you're doing is for naught. That doesn't mean the mob of Democrats who take over the House one day won't try it. But you cannot impeach a sitting president of the United States for events that occurred before he was president of the United States. So this is all very diabolical, very evil. Impeachment's being pushed by the media, as shown by that montage that you want. But the fact of the matter is, the president has done nothing wrong. He hasn't made illegal payments. He hasn't violated campaign laws. He hasn't obstructed justice. He didn't collude with the Russians. This is all a horrible, horrible spectacle.
And if he does try to fight back, in any even small measure, he's accused of obstruction. He can't get rid of anybody. He can't tweet about anybody. He can't make a comment about his own Justice Department, about Mueller, about anybody. He's accused of obstruction of justice. They've put him in this box somehow. They don't allow him to fight back over crimes that most people don't even believe are crimes, and they're just bloodying him up before the midterms. And if the Democrats retake the House, it's game over.
The abuse of power by Mr. Mueller, the abuse of power in the Southern District of New York, what is taking place here is unprecedented. And then when you see the media, oh, the free press, does it sound like a free press to anybody, really? Sounds like a propaganda machine for the Democrat Party. They sound like demagogues. They use the free press to advance their ideological agenda. And they are leading impeachment, they are leading these criminal issues and so forth. But the fact of the matter is, the American people need to stand up. They need to defend the office of the presidency, the president, the Constitution, and their franchise. They voted for this president, and these elitists and these prosecutors have no right to remove him.
All right, there he is, Mark Levin. See his show on Sunday night. A New York Times reporter compares President Trump to a dictator and says he wants to murder people in the streets. Where do you see this next?
This is my jam. Keep me partying till the AM. Y'all don't understand.